4, Spiritualize. We have mastered Specialize and Simplify already in the previous videos. Now we're on the third leg, Spiritualize. The three S's. So Specialize, Simplify, Spiritualize. And so in this chapter, there are references to two big masters, right? The Yoda from Star Wars and Shifu from Kung Fu Panda. These are masters who have developed some sense of equanimity, some sense of true understanding of their full power and their potential, their equipoise. And so, using these masters, there are many such masters in the world today. And so, who is your Yoda or who is your Shifu? Well, the answer is that you are your own Yoda, right? And your inner self is your Yoda. Your inner self is your Shifu. And so, for us to connect with that inner self, we need to use meditation as a technique. Meditation is a simple technique where we can connect to the Yoda inside of us and become the master that we are destined to become. And in this 2-minute video, this Tibetan Buddhist monk on YouTube, I have had the link in my slide deck. It gives you a very simple technique of starting off with meditation with simple breath control, breath watching. Right? How do you train your mind first in simple ways to watch your breath? Right? And then that's already a huge step forward. And so start simply with watching your breath, using meditation. What we're doing is we are opening this doorway to spiritualization or spirituality, where what we do is with a simple technique of focusing our mind on our breath, we acknowledge that there is this inner self, which is separate from this material self that we are. And that is the source of peace and creativity. That inner self is stable, it's calm. And when we distance ourselves, right, from this constant barrage of thoughts that we get on everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, and we have our virtual reality created as to who's helping us, who's not helping us, what do I need to do, and all of those things, health issues, wealth issues, and all kinds of issues, homeworks, assignments, and then there's project deadlines and client commitments, and there's so much that we're doing that we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to connect with our inner Yoda for getting that peace, getting that clarity of thought. And when we do this simple meditation technique, we temporarily distance ourselves. When we do that, we are temporarily putting a pause to this chronic set of thoughts that keep coming to us, and we shift to a deeper consciousness of us being the watcher, which is much more creative. It is interconnected. It doesn't have this limited self of who we are, and that gives us this creativity of possibility. There is a lot of possibility in that creative self. And so many benefits: clarity of thought, inner peace, inner strength, and connection to purpose, right? Once we get that clarity of thought, because we are able to recover, right? We have this time where we can detox from our barrage of thoughts, and we have lots of unclear set of thoughts that keep coming to us. And with clarity, or that peace that comes when you are detached, you can focus more. First you focus more on the meditation, but eventually you can take that experience and realize, oh, I was able to calmly see my emotions, calmly be a witness. I was able to experience that calmness, peace, stability, and all of that's needed in any negotiation that you do, in any conversation. You will see a lot of things come your way, which could, you could have a very bad emotional response. Internally you could just cause havoc. So to clear all of that garbage, we need to practice meditation, not just once, at least once in a day-to-day basis, but like multiple times during the day for short periods, where we are able to go back to that peacefulness, go back to those positive assertions, where we collect that inner peace, collect that inner strength, where we are able to balance the rational side of our brain and the emotional side of our brain. Sometimes the emotions of fear, anxiety, and greed overpower. And so then we need to have those steps, those moments in time where we can balance both of these. So huge benefits to meditation. clear thoughts, inner peace, while you can actually experience it if you just sit down for a few moments, watch your breath. You can actually experience it. That you were, it feels like a distraction in itself, but it's a good distraction. It's a distraction which gets you to focus. It gets you to build that concentration of saying, hey, I'm gonna consciously make my mind focus on the breath. When you keep doing that over and over, you're training your mind. You're training your mind to do what you want it to do. Remember, you cannot have a state where you will have no thoughts, because then that's just cessation of mind. You will have thoughts, but if you can train it in the direction where you want it to be, that's victory already. So, with this technique of meditation, we are connecting internally to our inner self, but we are also channelizing this energy that we have inside of us into the piece of work that we want to do. So, we can then focus on what we want to do, right? Also, this calmness or this peace or this strength connects us to our purpose, because this is the time when we will have thoughts around what is it that we want to do. Also, we can even channelize on that one, and we can constantly think about that, right? It connects us, all the things that we do, to the purpose or the higher purpose of why we're doing what we're doing, because sometimes the activities that we do can get repetitive. It is hard work. It requires inhuman efforts to really achieve great success. But in that pursuit, if we have a higher goal or a higher vision or a higher purpose, then the execution will not feel as difficult. So and we will be able to do what we always wanted to do, right? So meditation is that power charger, is the battery charger for ourselves, where we charge ourselves, right? So many benefits of meditation. For me personally, this term that was in this chapter, autotelic experiences, really resonated, because when I create these videos, when I'm learning something and when I'm using something that I have used, and when I share this knowledge, I do lose track of time. I feel that I'm in this state of flow where I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. It doesn't matter like what the view count on this videos would be, or like when it will get uploaded, and none of that, right? So these experiences where you are very close to the work itself, and the work itself is the reward, then then you're in it. Then days goes by, weeks goes by, hours, this feels like minutes, and you're fully immersed in that activity, and you can actually do your best to work. So spirituality with this meditation gets us to these autotelic experiences, which are closest to our purpose. So if you enjoy, let's say, teaching, if you enjoy, let's say, doing something else, and if you lose track of time, and experience this sense of flow where you're completely in it, then that experience is rewarding in itself. So that's the key. That was the biggest learning I had in this chapter, which is how do you spiritualize with the technique of meditation to get to autotelic experiences. There are few more tips to deal better with spiritualize angle, which is how do you first, you have to deal with the clutter, ruthlessly control what you consume in terms of your time. What consumes your time, like social media, we talked about it in the previous video, smartphones, cognitive overload with all kinds of information coming your way. Most of the time, a lot of that is not true. So be very mindful of what goes in, what takes your time. Sometimes it might actually be a good exercise to log, like what is it that you do on a typical week, where do you spend your time. Be very frugal and minimalistic, because at times we trying to gather things that we probably don't need, and they own us, because let's say you have a pretty big space and now you're constantly cleaning it, right? So do not let the things own you. So deal with the clutter head on. That is like the biggest tip. The less the amount of items you need to take care of, the better off you are. Using emotions, especially the ones that are pain, as trigger for quality reflections, so that you can use that, internalize, meditate, spiritualize this to get to those calm, peacefulness, figuring out that you're interconnected, that everyone's actually helping you, and there's those positive thoughts. Then you can actually achieve deep focus, because then you're not distracted. You're not like constantly worried about like someone else is out there to get you, right? So positive suggestions is something that you can improve on with meditation. So now finally ending with the checklist. What are the 5 things that we learned, and then are we doing those things for Spiritualize? Have we dedicated every day time for meditation, and do we adhere to that practice? Do we keep track? Because our mind sometimes fools us, saying, oh, I've been doing meditation, but if we keep track, we'll quickly realize maybe not, it's not true. And so there's this, also you need to start somewhere, like what is the technique, how do I start, right? So there's this link to this video that I found that was referenced in this chapter on starting with breath, watching your breath, right? Are you frugal in your life, or do you cut down unnecessary things? Do you have a positive constructive habit of positive assertion, or do you succumb to negativity and cynicism, right? So that's an area where meditation can further ground you, and it enables you to, it prepares you, meditation prepares you for deep focus, connects you to your purpose, gets you that peace and clarity. So highly recommend each and every one of us to really master this leg of Spiritualize. See you in the next one.